the planet. Wonderful day here in Newry, blue sky day, hints of summer in the air. Delighted to welcome into studio Pastor Mike Holohan of the Newry Christian Centre and your new associate, Pastor Stephen. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good to see the pair of you here this morning. You're new to the ship, aren't you?
Yes, I just joined recently at the end of January there.
Yeah, what motivated you to have a go and to pitch your lot in with the Newry Christian Centre?
Well, I believe it was called of God to come to Newry.
Really?
Yes, I've been a pastor up in Cookstown for 2.5 years, and I just felt that it was time to move on from Cookstown.
A wee bit closer to home as well, because you're a Tandragee man.
That's right, yeah. So I ended up here in Newry, and God's blessing us here, and we're really having a good time.
That's good. One of the God's blessings of the Newry Christian Centre is the Truffle Trust and your food bank. Mm-hmm. You've started that, you're less than 6 months into it.
Yeah.
How's it going?
It's going absolutely fabulous. I suppose maybe that's tongue-in-cheek, because it's not great when we see people that are on the poverty line, but at the same time we've fed, I think, 778 people since the end of October.
Mm. And are you seeing any pattern developing of people who are in a constancy of need, or are they being fed and getting back on their feet again and making progress?
Yeah, we don't see repeat customers, if you like. You know, we have a few people that have come several times, and most people, they just come once and they get their food parcel and they're away, and it just seems to be that they've met up with a glitch, maybe an unexpected bill or something like that, and they just don't know what to do. But they come and they get fed and then they move on. You know.
How many folk have you over there now at the moment, Mike?
In the church.
In the church.
In the church, I don't know. It was hard to say, but
Sunday morning about 100 to 120.
Really?
Most
That's substantial.
Yeah.
You know, you're well established now, really. It's Pastor Stephen, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's your first name, Stephen.
Yes, Stephen.
Pastor Stephen. What kind of ministry were you involved in Cookstown?
Well, I was the main pastor there.
With which church?
With the Elam Church as well.
Yes.
In Cookstown. And we done various things within the church. One of the main ministries that I would see myself involved in is praying for the sick.
Yes.
And I've done that quite a bit over the years and seen many miracles and God move in great ways.
Have you ever either of you ever figured out why God heals some people and doesn't heal others?
There's a whole plethora, really, of reasons why he doesn't. There's different things. It can be a lack of faith on behalf of people. It can be things that people are involved in. Just a primary example, somebody might come looking for healing for cancer, but they refuse to give up smoking.
Oh, yeah.
Simple things. It can be a lack of faith. It can be, things that people are involved in. It can be their lifestyle. But when we see a lot of people healed.
Yeah. What cracks it for people? What's the formula that you know, in your experience, has worked?
When Jesus healed, right? Everywhere in the Gospels where you see where Jesus healed, it says he taught the people and then he healed them.
Yes.
And so there's an element of teaching first, because the teaching produces faith in people, and then you lay hands for healing, and then we see people healed.
Okay, you're healed yourself.
Yes, I was healed.
What happened?
I had an accident where I fell 18 feet off a ladder onto concrete.
My goodness.
I landed on my 2 feet. I had over 100 fractures in each foot. Fractured the back of the left knee, and my left heel was shattered. But I knew that God was a healer, and it was 6 weeks before I was getting married, and the doctor told me I would be 14 weeks in hospital.
Yes.
I told him that wasn't going to happen, that God was going to heal me. And I prayed and I believed for healing. After 4 days, I was able to hop about on my right foot without any pain. And the doctor caught me doing that, took me back down to x-ray. There wasn't a sign of a single fracture in my right foot.
Come off it, you're pulling my leg.
I'm not pulling your leg. This is all documented.
And was there the first x-ray that showed the fractures?
The first x-ray showed there was over 100 fractures in each foot.
And the second x-ray showed no fractures?
Clear, completely clear.
And how far were they apart, those two x-rays?
4 days.
Amazing. That's amazing.
Miracle.
But you're seeing things like this on an almost regular basis over there.
Yeah, we've seen people healed of cancers, seen people healed of heart problems, seen people healed of arthritis, just lots of things. When we were in our old building, we had a lady came in one day, and there was an elevator to get up the stairs, and she came in and she had one of those walking frames with wheels on it, you know, those ones, and she pushed it and she came up in the elevator, and we prayed for her, and she went down the stairs with the walking frame over her shoulder.
Goodness gracious.
Just unbelievable, you know.
Yeah. So you would equally, you look around, places like Lourdes in France where miracles occur too, or allegedly miracles occur there as well. That doesn't surprise you if there's a people of faith.
No.
Yeah. You don't have to be a Protestant or you don't have to be a Catholic. No. You just have to believe in God.
Yeah.
That's your
Do
view.
you know the funny thing about that, Ron, is God has no religion. And different religions think they own God or have a monopoly on God, and the reality is none of us own God. He's in control
of everything there. Yeah. So has it been a week of healing for you over there?
Yeah.
You've concentrated on
starting this Sunday night. It's
coming this Sunday?
Yeah. Every night this coming week. Sunday night at 6 o'clock, and then Monday to Friday at 8 o'clock. Yeah. And there'll be just a time of sharing the Word of God, because that produces the faith in people, and then we'll lay hands on anybody who comes. We'll lay hands on them.
How does the service work in bullet points?
Real simple. Just we sing a couple of songs at the start. We would have called them hymns, but they're more contemporary. And then one of us, me or Pastor Stephen, will get up and share the Word for maybe 30 minutes, and then afterwards, then we'll invite the sick to come and we'll lay hands on them and pray for them.
Yeah. Your God is a healing God.
Absolutely.
Yes.
He wants people to be well.
Yes.
Yeah. But he has rules and regulations. You have to believe first.
Yeah. Well, there's two ways that works. Sometimes faith has to be involved, and sometimes it can be the faith of the person praying, or it can be the faith of the person receiving. And I remember praying for a woman one day, and she said to me, "I don't believe." And I said to her, "Well, if you let me believe God for you, will you accept that?" And she said, "I'll accept that. I'll receive that."
Deal done.
Yeah. And so I prayed and I believed, and she got healed.
That's fantastic. Let's remind the people now of when and where and what time. We're starting on Sunday night.
Starting on Sunday night in 8 Upper Edward Street, beside the fire station, between the fire station and the post office, parcel office. And we'll be there Sunday night at 6 o'clock, and then Monday to Friday at 8 o'clock.
At 8 o'clock, right through. And you'll both be there.
Both be there.
And it's a week of healing there.
Yeah.
How did you, Stephen, come to the church? How did you come to believe in God? What was your circumstance?
When I was a lad of 14 years of age, I hadn't been to church for about 3 years. And a new neighbour moved in and invited me to come along to some meetings. And at those meetings, I heard the gospel about a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. And after going to those meetings for 4 weeks, I realised that because I had sinned in my life and had done wrong, that I was in need of a saviour. And I asked Jesus to come into my life at that stage. And that was when I was 14 years of age. I'm now 52, and I can honestly say God has never let me down a day in my life.
Isn't that great?
And
it's a great
God
faith.
is a great God.
Great faith. And you're coming to it, Mike?
Yeah, well, I was 20 years of age, and I ran with the world. I got involved in...
Typical 20-year-old.
Yeah, drinking, drugs, and fighting and crime and everything I could get involved in. And I actually stole a book, and the book was called The Cross and the Switchblade, and I liked it because there was a picture of a flick knife on the front of it. Didn't realise the cross bit, stole the book and read the book, and it was a guy who was in America who was in prison for murder. He didn't actually commit the murder, but he was involved in it. And he talked about getting a little New Testament when he was in his prison cell, and he said that when he read it, he found Jesus, and he got down on his knees at the side of his bed and asked Jesus into his life. And I didn't believe so much in God at the time, but I got down on my knees at the side of my bed, and my prayer was this: God, I don't know if you exist, but if you do exist, will you come into my life and change me? And God radically transformed my life
from that moment
on. So much so, Ron, let me just say this, so much so that 6 months after I prayed that prayer, the local Gardaí in the south, because I'm from the south, local Gardaí came and picked me up and took me for a drive, and they brought me to this place. And I thought they were going to give me a hammering or something.
Yes.
And the two Gardaí turned around and said, we just want to tell you that we're proud of you. We heard that you found God and you've turned your life around. He said 6 months ago I put a bet on with this man that you'd be dead or in jail in 6 months, and instead you've turned your life around, and we just want to tell you, keep up the good work.
Because that's the kind of thing that happens to people who are living on the kind of edge you were living on.
Yeah.
You die in terrible circumstances,
Yeah.
or you go to prison. And
Yeah.
that's so the work has gone on,
Yep.
and it's all good. It's begins Sunday night at 6 o'clock at the Newry Christian Centre on Edward Street,
Amen.
halfway between the fire station and the post office, and then Monday to Friday
At 8 o'clock.
at 8 o'clock, and it's about healing. So give it a go. Start believing, and you'll get healing. Maybe. I'm like him. I don't know if there is a God or not, but he does, so that's all right. Let's go. So anyway, thank you so much for coming in. We wish you well.
Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you.
All the very best to you, Pastor Steve.
Thank you, Roland.
Good luck in where you're going. Well done. We'll play some music now, Sean.